Lee, we actually have a non uh tough alumni, I believe.
Yeah,
Anywho, Kevin Lee, the Motown Phenom, coming in at 18-6. This stack house is coming in at 170 for this fight. Right? 170.
yeah. This is a welterweight fight for
It's a
sure.
welterweight fight. Fighting at 5'9" with a 77-inch reach. So he's a little undersized. He's been fighting in the lightweight for quite some time. All right, he's coming off a loss to the champion where he had some issues with his knee, and then obviously all these guys are top competition. So he's fought some killers, especially in the lightweight division. I believe his only other welterweight fight was RDA right here and
Yep.
the weight. So we'll get into his analysis in a minute, but his opponent is Daniel D. Rodriguez coming at 15-2, fighting out of California, coming in at 6'1", saying 4-inch reach. So there's quite a bit of size there. And he's coming off 2 wins versus Preston Parsons and Mike Perry. And yeah, Zach, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm gonna let you do this one first.
Okay.
I always have to go first.
Okay. So Kevin Lee, start off with him. I think his wrestling is excellent. I think he's a brawler. I think he's dangerous. I think he can beat anybody on any given night. Concerns with him are I believe he's coming off 2 knee surgeries. That's why it's been almost over. No, it's definitely been over a year and maybe over 18 months since we last seen him in the octagon. So it'll be very interesting to see how he comes out, see if there's any ring rust. But I think he is just an absolute stud. I mean, he's beat some of the top guys, honestly, and he's tough. He gets himself in trouble because he leaves his chin open, but also his wrestling makes up for it. And sometimes he gets submitted. But overall, I think he is a minus B plus fighter. His opponent Daniel Rodriguez, he's more of a stand up guy, and he just likes to brawl, pound it out, boxing, kickboxing kind of stuff. And he does have power in his hands, but there's not much spectacularness. It's what's the old boy's name that we saw fight Uriah Hall a couple weeks ago?
Son of a bitch, Sean Strickland.
Yeah. It's Sean Strickland esque, but without as crisp of a jab and not nearly as well rounded. I think. I think he's a poor man, Sean Strickland. If I'm being honest with you here, um, I just don't see him doing well on his back, especially jujitsu wise and handling Kevin Lee's wrestling. But also you got to take in point into account that Kevin Lee's going to be undersized for this fight, so it'll be interesting to see if he'll be able to take D Rod down.
I absolutely agree with that last point more than anything. I personally am not a Sean Strickland fan. I'm not convinced the guy's as great as everybody else says he is. So I'll just start there. Uh More than anything, I think Kevin Lee is definitely a lightweight. He's definitely a 155er. And I guess I respect the balls for him to move to 170. He said, I need a fight. He went and found a fight. And, maybe if he comes in and performs and looks really good, he could be somebody that just based on his resume could walk into a really big fight, even if it's at 170. I believe he's ranked number 11 in the lightweight rankings. But if I have to pick an underdog on this fight, or on this card, which I just feel like I do, I feel like this fight is definitely a favorable matchup for Daniel Rodriguez. I think this is a fight that he can win because, like you said, Kevin Lee leaves his chin a little bit exposed at times. He's not afraid to take a punch, but more than anything, Daniel Rodriguez's output is insane. He's got like a plus 2.8 something, if I'm not mistaken, striking differential, significant strike differential. And we just talked about Gerald Michart, who's got a negative significant strike differential. So you have to take into account how much this guy's putting out and at the same time, how efficient he is with some of the stuff. I mean, let me rephrase. Everything he's putting out is touching. He's not wasting punches. He's not in there dancing around and shadow boxing. That's not his style. I agree with you. I think the discrepancy in the ground game definitely favors Kevin Lee, but I think I lean more towards the side of if Daniel Rodriguez can kind of maintain staying on the outside and trying to pick this fight apart, when Kevin Lee tries to wrestle him, he should just be able to get his ass to the cage and either A, defend the takedown, or B, pop right back up.
Yeah, I mean, the only caveat I have to that is we saw Daniel Rodriguez have a bunch of trouble with Nicholas Dalby, who we did a co-op on the other week, and his karate style and his big stance and darting in and out, which I think Kevin Lee can do. Honestly, he's definitely athletic. I think he's gonna have the speed advantage on the feet, and I mean, it's gonna be a close fight. I just think Kevin Lee's gonna make this his fight. I don't think he's gonna stay in the pocket of D Rod. He's gonna make it ugly, you know. I think he might get him down to the ground, and we haven't really seen Derek or D Rod on the ground, you know. So
No, there's definitely a huge difference and I guess a favorable level of experience on Kevin Lee's side because Rodriguez just has not fought the same caliber of guys, 155 or 170, no different in that regard. But if you really, I guess, look at what it seems like to me, Kevin Lee's been training for this fight. Kevin Lee has known this fight was coming, and I can't remember exactly who he was supposed to be fighting, but his opponent pulled out, and Daniel Rodriguez took this fight. But Daniel Rodriguez didn't fight all that long ago, so I don't think the short notice aspect of this fight will be as large as it's been in the past. Yeah, he just fought in July, so I think Daniel Rodriguez will be in shape. I think he'll look good. So the short notice aspect of the fight won't matter, even though Kevin Lee has been training his ass off.
no, yeah, I agree with you, but you gotta look at Kevin Lee's, you know, just report card of the fights. I mean, shit, he KO'd by Dr. Stoppage, Edson Barboza. Well, I mean, who is not the biggest guy, but Jesus Christ, if you can KO Edson Barboza and get away from his kicks and his striking, I mean, come on, man. Like, he's one of the best strikers and the quickest. So you're telling me that if he can beat Edson Barboza, he's not gonna be able to beat Daniel Rodriguez? I mean, shit. Gregor Gillespie was undefeated before he fought Kevin Lee. And Gregor Gillespie, although he's a wrestler, also a great striker too. So I mean, most of Kevin Lee's experience has been dominating, uh, ground game, and obviously, but you beat Edson Barboza, you get my respect.
Yeah, no, I think I just hold a lot of apprehension towards Kevin Lee, even if it's subconsciously at this point, just because, he's coming off of two pretty serious injuries, with one of them, maybe I think both of them being to his knee.
Yep, two ACLs.
It's just, it's not that you can't recover from that. There's plenty of guys in professional sports throughout all of them that have shown you could tear your ACL 100 times and still come back and be an effective professional athlete. But I just think it's difficult to say that he'll be the same. It's almost Derrick Rose pre-knee injury versus Derrick Rose after the knee injury. He's not a bad basketball player by any means, but he's not nearly as explosive and as able to change the game as he was before he hurt himself. And I think that will probably impact Kevin Lee, whether he chooses to acknowledge it before the fight or not.
And that's going to do it for our analysis on this one.
We got to talk about the money lines. We got to talk about the bets.
Oh, yeah. You correct me right there, pal. All right. Let's get into these bets real quick. All right. We got Kevin Lee as a minus 145 favorite. And his opponent, D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, coming out plus 135. Zach?
Well, I'll take, I have plus 137 on mine, but plus money at this point, like you said, I think the card is going to favor the favorites. So plus money where you can get it is good. I don't know if I really want to look at any prop bets in particular, except for maybe Rodriguez wins by TKO at plus 380. It's at plus 380 for a reason. It's not necessarily likely, but it could happen. And Rodriguez by decision is also plus 380. So you can take plus money on Rodriguez. And then if you decide to attach a means to it, you can over double set odds. So I think I would prefer to play the knockout bet myself, but what sticks out to you, Gage?
Nothing really. I mean, I think Lee could win by submission at plus 420, but I wouldn't be willing to take a risk on that. I think he's going to have a harder time than he thinks getting him to the ground. So, I mean, I guess fight to decision if you want Kevin Lee, but you're not really doing yourself any favors because there's no plus money there.
True.